The commission meeting to order. Today is February the 10th. It is 8:35. We have all commissioners present. We have a quorum. Commissioner Steen and some staff are participating today video conference, which is allowed in the Open Meeting Act. We will start with the U.S. pledge and then the Texas. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay. First item is the annual independent audit. Kathy, this is your item.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Kathy Paika. I'm controller for the agency. With me this morning is Mr. Kevin Sanford. He's the engagement partner for the firm Weaver and Tidwell. They performed our required annual financial audit for the fiscal year 2021 financials. Kevin, I'll let you proceed.
Very good. Thank you, Kathy. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Director Green. It's my pleasure to be here today. As Kathy mentioned, my name is Kevin Sanford. I'm a partner with the firm of Weaver and Tidwell, and I'm honored to be here to present the results of our audit for the Lottery Commission for the year ended August 31st, 2021. And I say while I have a brief presentation, only kind of highlighting the key points of the audit, if at any time or at the end you'd like me to dig into any more information or talk any more specifics, please don't hesitate to interrupt. The first item to highlight is our opinion on the financial statements, which if you're looking either at a printed copy or a bound copy, it is the first item in the financial section, and it's on page 4 of the document. So it's on our letterhead. Our opinion, once again this year, is an unmodified or unqualified opinion. It's the highest level of assurance that independent auditors can provide to a set of financial statements. It states that in all material respects, these financials are accurately presented. And then you'll also notice in the back of the document on page 77, there is one more report from us. The lottery, as a state agency in Texas, is under governmental auditing standards. And commensurate with that audit, we have to perform tests of internal controls over financial reporting of the Lottery Commission, as well as tests of the key matters of compliance and other matters. And while our testing of internal control is not to the point to render an opinion, any testing that we do is substantial, and any findings we have would have to be brought forward to you in this report. So happy to report that both under internal controls, there were no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses to the lottery's internal control, nor were there any findings under key matters of compliance and other matters. So in all respects, it is a clean report from us on the Commission's financial statements, as well as internal controls and key matters of compliance. And so the last item from us is to you, a letter from us to you with our required communications for the audit. It's the Board of Commissioners is responsible for the oversight of us as auditors. And really, I wasn't going to highlight anything in here. It's kind of standard boilerplate language with our required communications. Nothing adverse, nothing out of the ordinary. But again, if anything in the financial statements or in this letter you would like me to dive into a little bit more, I'm happy to do so.
Okay, commissioners, any questions? Okay, good job.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Commissioners.
very good. Okay, the next item in our report is from the BAC. Trace, it's your item.
Chairman, Commissioners, staff. Our last meeting was on 26th of January. We had 6 members in attendance. Unfortunately, our Vice Chair, Kim Rogers, had to resign due to time and family constraints. Kim was a valuable asset to the BAC and the industry and will be sorely missed. So BAC would like to ask the Commissioners to reopen the application process to fill the vacant position for Kim Rogers. Also, the BAC is still working on points to revive the website and make it more user-friendly. We also heard opinions on recommending removing the seal of Texas off pull tabs and event tickets to help the supply chain problems in the industry. The motion to recommend the removal of the seal resulted in a tie vote and did not pass for recommendation. Lastly, LaDonna and her staff asked for ideas to help get more charities to file their reports online instead of the old paper way, to make it a lot more convenient for her staff to do their audits and reports. And we agreed to come up with some ideas to help them with that.
Okay.
And that concludes my report.
Okay. Cindy, do you have any thoughts?
I would like to say thanks to Kim Rogers for her valuable input all these years, and she doesn't live here, right? She travels to the meeting.
I believe in San Antonio, yes.
So I think she's been really, really helpful on everything,
Absolutely.
as are all of you guys.
Thank you.
Okay. And then to that regard, LaDonna, if you could start working on filling that vacancy and then report back at the next meeting and give us a timeline. And, during that, obviously communicate with city throughout and just make sure that there's anything that you need from her or us, let us know. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mike, next 3 items are yours.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Make sure I'm focused in here. Yes, we appreciate y'all working with us on this. This is a first for us in terms of the telecommunication meeting, so thank you for your assistance and help working on this. Good morning, Commission. For the record, my name is Mike Fernandez. I'm the Director of Administration. Next, the first item 4 are 2 contracts, both of which are briefing items. First one is to advise the Commission of Staff's intent to issue a request for proposal for promotional products. The anticipated term of this is a 1-year contract with 2 1-year renewals. The next item, working with and through the State Office of Risk Management, staff intend to acquire insurance for the purpose of managing retailer bonus payments for the Mega Millions and Powerball games. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay. Any questions? Nope. Okay.
Item number 5 in your Commissioners is also a briefing item. And is to advise the Commission of Staff's intent to extend our current contract with Elsom Consulting for internal control systems operation services. This extension will be for a 2-year period beginning September 1, 2022. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay. None.
And lastly, Commission, item number 6 in your notebook is an action item. Staff seeking Commission approval to extend our current contract with McCollum Jones LLP for internal audit services for a 1-year period. Commissioners have independently confirmed they have a financial interest in McCollum Jones. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay. None. Okay.
I'll move that we extend the internal audit services contract.
I'll second. Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Jamie, is it yes? Is
Aye.
that correct?
Yes.
All right. Love it. Wow. Just echoing throughout the chambers like we voice from above. Love it. Mike, thank you so much. Okay. Next item is Kyle. Lottery rule proposal.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. For the record, I'm Kyle Wolf, Assistant General Counsel. Item 7 in your notebooks, which is an action item, contains proposal to adopt amendments to the 8 draw game rules in that item. The proposed amendments to the Lotto Texas and Powerball rules increase the number of consecutive draws a player can purchase in those draw games. The proposed amendments also consolidate similar provisions from 7 separate draw game rules into the general draw game rule. Those provisions being consolidated concern a player's verification of numbers and other selections on lottery tickets. On this action item, staff is recommending that the Commission initiate the rulemaking process by publishing these proposed amendments and the Texas Register receive public comment for a period of 30 days. If you have any questions about these proposed amendments, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, is there a motion to publish the proposal for public comment?
Make motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, 100%. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is Kathy and Robert and Ryan.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Kathy Paika, Controller of the Commission. With me this morning is Robert Trelawney, our Product Manager at the podium, and to my right, Brian Mendel, our Lottery Operations Director, who will be joining us to provide an update on the Commission's advertising budget. Commissioners, our first slide that we have for you this morning will begin with slide 2. Comparative sales through the week ending February 5th, 2022 are presented at the bottom of the slide. Total fiscal year 2022 sales through this 23-week period are $3,525 million. That is an increase of $100 million over our fiscal year 2021 sales, or 2.9%. Commissioners, when we met in December, we discussed our concern about what our year-over-year increase might look like after the comparison to the 1 billion Mega Millions jackpot that occurred in January of 21, as well as the very large Powerball jackpot that reached 730 million in 2021. So we're super pleased that we passed that hurdle and we still have a $100 million increase over fiscal year 2021. As we look at the individual sales numbers, our fiscal year 2022 scratch sales, which are reflected on the second orange bar, are $2,856 million, which is a $174 million increase over the sales figure for fiscal year 2021. Our current scratch ticket growth rate is 6.5% over last fiscal year. Our scratch ticket sales this fiscal year amount to 81% of total lottery sales in comparison to last fiscal year, which was 78.3% of total lottery sales. And our fiscal year 2022 draw sales reflected on the second blue bar are $668 million, which is a $74 million increase, or $74 million decrease, or just under 10% below fiscal year 2021. Robert will now provide a detailed overview of sales by product.
Thank you, Kathy. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. This is our year-over-year comparison. This is through last Saturday, February 5th. We start at the bottom of the slide. We are up $100 million compared to last fiscal. We could dig a little deeper and see where that growth is coming from. Scratch tickets on the line right above that are up almost $174 million. We did have some tough weeks in January, tough comparison weeks this year compared to last due to the large jackpots we had, which also drove very strong scratch sales last January. So we are up 174. If you look right above that, though, you can see for our draw games, those are down almost $74 million. Why is that? Large jackpots in January of 21. The overwhelming majority of that decline is coming from the jackpot portion of the portfolio. That's up at the top in the white font. The jackpot games are down 73 million year over year. Quick reminder, in January of 21, we had a $730 million Powerball jackpot, and we had a $1 billion Mega Millions jackpot. We were lucky that both games did start rolling this past fall. They rolled into January. They just didn't quite get up to the levels we saw a year ago. Mega Millions made it up to 421 million, and Powerball got up to 630 million. So, you know, the $421 million jackpot could not compete with the 1 billion from a year ago. And that's why we're seeing an $86 million decline for Mega Millions, and the add-on games for Mega Millions are down about 12.8 million. We still are in the positive for Powerball and power play. Again, that's thanks to us getting up to 630 million just a month ago. A lot of Texas is down and Texas two-step is down. Again, this is all jackpot driven, jackpot related. The middle of the slide in blue are our daily games, almost breaking even, slightly down $800,000. Pick 3 is down about 1.6 million. That's almost made up for with the growth on daily 4. That's up 1.2. Cash 5 is down 700,000, but all or nothing is up $400,000. So again, draw games down 73.7, netting out at 100 million growth. I guess if there's good news about the jackpot situation is that last year, once we got past those very large jackpots in January, there was not any humongous jackpots for the remainder of the fiscal year. One jackpot got up to 515 million in May. So hopefully Powerball and Mega Millions can get a decent jackpot run sometime the rest of this fiscal year, and we can add to the growth that we're already seeing for Powerball, and hopefully we can minimize the losses that we're experiencing on Mega Millions. For Scratch, we have a solid game plan going forward, and we will continue to update you on sales in future meetings. And with that, Ryan's going to proceed with an update on our advertising budget.
Thank you, Robert, and good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Ryan Liddell, the Lottery Operations Director. Thought it would be good, given the budget cuts that we've faced over the past few years, to give you an overview of where our advertising budget stands today, an outline of some of the strategic considerations we took into account as we managed those budget cuts, and give you a couple of examples of what we have in the market. On the next slide, I just want to walk through, again, some of the strategic reasons as we face this drastic decline. As you know, we've gone from 32 million down to 10 million. That's almost a 69% decrease in a relatively short amount of time. With managing those budget cuts, we've tried to maintain where we can long-term commitments. For instance, we have Jackpot Billboards in key locations where we've been for almost, if not longer than 20 years around the state. We've had to move out of different mediums like radio and TV, which are unfortunately a little too expensive for our current budget and don't allow us the flexibility to match the current budget levels. In turn, we've moved more into digital platforms like social, mobile, and web, and also maintain some flexibility with our campaign billboards where we can put them in certain markets around the state. We've also really kept our focus on in-store, what we call point of sale. That's items right at retail, right where the customer can see them and at the time of purchase. We've also looked to move functionality in-house where we can and try to be a little bit, again, more flexible and responsive to the budgets we have. So with that on the next slide, I'll walk through our budget as it stands for this fiscal year. As you can see, there's a large commitment to those Jackpot Billboards around the state. And again, these are places that if we stepped out of because of these budget cuts, we may never be able to get back into those locations. When you hear Robert and Kathy talk about how the jackpot sales drive both the sales for that game, but also across the portfolio, those Jackpot Billboards are one of the only ways we have to communicate those high jackpots to our players around the state. We've also, as I said, moved more into digital, although it still remains a relatively small portion of the portfolio. It gives us that flexibility, and if we have additional funds or savings from other categories, we find that's a good place to talk to players in a way that we maybe didn't before these budget cuts. Obviously, the campaign billboards and point of sale, those are part of our advertising campaigns for our major scratch ticket launches. I'll talk about a little bit more about those in a moment. We have statutorily required end of game ads. And then obviously the contractual expenses with our ad agency. As you know, and as I've approved recently, we're in the middle of an RFP process for the new ad agency contract, which I hope will bring some of those numbers down a little bit. On the next slide, I just want to give you a couple of examples of those billboards that I talked about. So on this one side, you see the Jackpot Billboards. And again, those are the key drivers of jackpot awareness around the state. I'm sure you've all seen them in all the markets we have. We have 95 of those. And again, these are places that we've had these billboards for a very long time. We get to advertise both Powerball and Mega Millions, and they update daily. And again, we just think those are key locations. On the other side, you'll see what we call the campaign billboards. So those are rotating messages. Those are focused on key scratch campaigns that we do throughout the year. Those, we had to limit the reach of those and put them into fewer and fewer markets as our budgets are cut. We still think they're a strong piece of the portfolio when we talk about these major scratch launches we have. On the next slide, I'll just walk through what those scratch launches look like. So in previous years, before we had these budget cuts, we would come out with what we call a campaign to support scratch tickets 5 or 6 times a year. The budget cuts, we had to strip down to the 4 essential scratch launches we do. And that would be the 3, what we call families. It's a suite of tickets at multiple price points that have a similar theme or look and feel. Those launch in September, January, and May usually. And we're able to support those with those campaign billboards you just saw, some digital pieces, and also those point of sale right at retail. We also try to support the holiday suite of tickets that comes out around the, a little bit before the holidays with some point of sale in the market as well. So again, this is just a very high level overview of the strategic considerations we managed this budget cut and a snapshot of where we stand today. Happy to answer any questions about that.
Okay, any questions? Okay, good job.
Mr. Chairman, I would just say, back to Robert and the whole team, that was kind of making up more than the loss that we all kind of knew was going to come if we didn't get those jackpots. I mean, well done on that, the scratch increase that way more than made up for that loss. And so that's the one thing that you guys can control. So just want to congratulate you on that. And yeah, the others just, we're kind of at the whim of the rolling jackpots. So thank you for that.
Okay, next item, state and agency budget status. Kathy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, tab 9 includes agencies transfers to the state as well as agency's budget status. The report in your notebook reflects accrued revenue transfers and the allocations to the Foundation School Fund, the Texas Veterans Commission, as well as the allocation of unclaimed lottery prizes for the 4-month period ending December 31st of 2021. Our total accrued revenue transfers to the state amounted to $563.6 million for the first 4 months of the fiscal year. Of that $563.6 million, $540.7 million was transferred to the Foundation School Fund, $5.9 million was transferred to the Fund for Veterans Assistance, and the balance of $17 million was transferred as unclaimed lottery prizes. This leaves us with a 10.1% increase, or $49 million over revenue transfers to the Foundation School Fund for the same period last fiscal year. Our total cumulative transfers to the Foundation School Fund through December of this year include $28.2 million. Also included in your notebook is the fiscal year 2022 method of finance summary for the first quarter ended November 30th of 2021. The Commission's lottery account budget for fiscal year 2022 is $263.8 million, of which 71.8% was expended and obligated through the end of the first quarter. The bingo administration budget funded by general revenue is just over $2 million, with 92% of that obligated through the end of the first quarter. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, commissioners, any discussion? Okay, nope. Okay, thank you. Okay, item number 10 is Darlene.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Darlene Brown and I'm your internal auditor. And first, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation for renewing our contract for another year and your support. So in your binder today, I have a status report of our activities. This past quarter, we reviewed the network access and we're happy to report that there were no unauthorized user accounts on your network. We continue to work on charitable bingo reconciliations. We've also started the audit of agency-wide performance measures and ticket management. Those are our activities for this period. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to address them.
Commissioners, any questions? None? Okay. Darlene.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darlene.
Okay. Next item is bingo director report. Donna.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. For the record, I'm LaDonna Cascanduela, Director of Charitable Bingo Operations Division. Information concerning output metrics for CBOD for December and January can be found in your notebook materials. I also have a quick update about division activities. In addition to the work detailed in the notebook materials, we are busy on projects associated with the upcoming move, records retention, and procedure documentation, including procedures for reporting performance standards in preparation for the related internal audit that Darlene just mentioned. A few of those are outdated and need revisions, while others have never been drafted before. Another project that was also mentioned by Trace just a minute ago that I'm working on is looking for ways to increase the number of license holders who file quarterly reports online. At this time, 40% of all quarterly reports are filed by mail, requiring CBOD staff to spend many hours each quarter manually processing them and data entering the reports into the BOSS database. If we could cut that number in half or more, it would free up staff to spend more time on other important office projects, cross-training, and other professional development. I'm grateful for the support offered by the BAC, who allowed me to present the issue at their last meeting. We're in the very earliest stages of this project, and I'm encouraged by the response so far. I also want to let you know that we've been working on filling vacancies in the division. We will have a new auditor in our Austin office next week, and hopefully a new auditor in the San Antonio office a few weeks after that. There's currently a vacancy posted for a licensed specialist, and I hope we're able to bring he or she on board before the April meeting. That's all I have for you today. I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay, Donna, thank you. Commissioners, is there any discussion? Cindy, do you have anything you'd like to? Nope. Okay, Donna, great job as always. Thank you so much, and definitely have a lot on your plate, and the work that you're doing is definitely noticed, and we're grateful. So thank you. Next item is our esteemed executive director's report. Gary, your item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Other than what's in your notebook this morning, Commissioners, I have 2 items to report on. The first is our upcoming move. Oh, sorry, just a moment. Good, Philip. We've got you. The first item is our upcoming move to the new George H.W. Bush State Office Building at 1801 Congress. According to the Texas Facilities Commission, the construction is on schedule, and we are tentatively planning to move the majority of our staff and equipment in late April or early May. Our claim center and draw studio, which are going to be located on the first floor of the new building, won't be moving until June 4th. Bulk of our staff are going to be located on the 5th and 6th floors of the new building. And along with the Texas Racing Commission, we will be the first 2 agencies to move into the new facility. At this point, the basic office spaces are complete and the final finish out work is underway. The Department of Information Resources is in the process of installing the network infrastructure, and the modular furniture for our agency is being delivered as we speak and is going to be installed throughout the month of February. In the new building, there will have a commission meeting space for use by all the state agencies who will be occupying the building. That'll be on a reservation basis. At this time, we're a little uncertain if that commission meeting space is going to be ready for April or even possibly for June commission meetings. But if not, we will have our current space still under lease through August, and we'll adjust the location of those meetings as we need to. Mr. Chairman, my final item to report on this morning is the most important item of the day, and that is the imminent retirement of our agency controller, Kathy Paika. So I would like to ask Kathy to come forward and sit at the table, if she would. Commissioners, Kathy's last day in the office will be February 18th. And Mr. Chairman, I think you wanted to kick it off on this side.
Yes. Kathy, just the work that you've done for as long as you have is incredible. And we know that you are the foundation of giving us that, financial direction in terms of how we're doing, the work that we've done to measure our progress, the work in the future. Definitely in the financial world, you have an incredible amount of, pluses and minuses to the budget, a lot of budget cuts, a lot of additions, a lot of, everything, right? It's a perpetually moving, spreadsheet. But
The negatives.
yeah,
Unfortunately.
so, well, regardless of how many budget cuts there are, the important thing is that, we can always move, forward, right? You can always add to that balance sheet. But the reduction of you personally is going to be a budget cut that's going to be very difficult for us collectively to endure. And your presence will remain, as you've set a very high standard of work ethic, of commitment to the Texas Lottery. And on behalf of all of our commissioners, we are incredibly grateful for all of your years of service, and you will be deeply missed.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. It's been a great honor to be part of this agency. I think that, the amazing team that I get to work for, led by Gary, is one of the best executive teams in state government. And, I've had some experiences at other places, so I think I'm a pretty good judge of that after so many incredible years here. But I appreciate all of y'all's support, and you can only very well imagine the amazing team that I have in the Office of the Controller and the great things that they do. You well know that I just get to lead it. I have an amazing team that supports me, so I appreciate all of y'all's support as well.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other comments? Okay, here, or I'm sorry.
Just one, I think it's easy to kind of gloss over when we get the audit reports and financial and all. But for every single audit that I've been on this commission for, we have been spotless. That is not an easy thing. And like I said, that's easy to, just financial gobbledygook. That's hard to do, and particularly in an agency this complex. So I really want to thank him. You are going to be sorely missed.
Thank you. Those audited financials did not quite look like that many, many years ago, but we've really worked hard to place an amazing set of standards in. And I have full confidence that under Kelly's leadership that will continue, that financial product be just as good as it is today. So, but I appreciate that. It's a lot of work, no doubt.
Well, it makes our job much easier. So thank you.
Okay, Gary.
Well, of course, I'm not going to let Kathy off that easy. So let me start off by congratulating Kathy, not only on her retirement, but on all the contributions that she's made to the agency. Please understand that the Texas Lottery is not your typical government agency. It's much more like a Fortune 500 company with billions of dollars flowing through our financial system and having to be accounted for. The uniqueness and complexity of our financial situation here, it's not for everyone. To highlight that fact, in the first 13 years of the Texas Lottery, we went through 6 chief financial officers. In the last almost 17, we've gone through 1. That's Kathy Paika. That's a testament to Kathy's ability. Before Kathy joined our agency in 2005, she had risen through the ranks of state government, serving as chief financial officer first at the Department of Commerce and then CFO at the Workforce Commission, both in the early and mid-90s. In 97, she left the Workforce Commission for an opportunity with the Texas Railroad Commission. That's an agency where Kathy would spend about the next 8 years of her career, rising from deputy CFO to CFO, finally deputy executive director. One of Kathy's longtime colleagues in state government is our very own Mike Fernandez. Their paths first crossed back in the mid-90s when Kathy worked at the Department of Commerce and Mike was with the Workforce Commission. By 2005, Mike had been working here at the Texas Lottery long enough to see the challenges that we had in finding and retaining a top-notch CFO. So when the position became vacant once again that year, Mike came to me and he told me he had an outstanding person that he knew of that might be a great fit for our agency, in his opinion. Now, if you know Mike, you also know that Mike has lots of opinions. He's not shy about sharing them. But I value Mike's opinion. And I told him, go ahead, see if you can get this person to apply for the position. Well, that person, of course, ended up being Kathy. Kathy went through the interview process for the position, which even included one of our commissioners and our future chairman, Jim Cox, who was on the interview panel. Jim was a wonderful commissioner. Being a CPA, he had a real passion for finance, and he wanted to help us find just the right person. So when the interviews were over, it was clear that Kathy was the standout candidate on all the individuals who had applied. And Kathy thankfully accepted my offer of employment. And I didn't realize it at the time. That decision to hire Kathy was surely one of the wisest decisions I've ever made in my working life. Kathy came on board. She went out and quickly recruited some of her top lieutenants who were at other agencies. She set about assessing where and how we needed to improve our financial systems and processes. And brother, we needed a lot of improvement. And she turned our financial department completely around. Kathy was so good at her job that we even renamed it. Before Kathy came aboard, the job was called the Financial Operations Director. Kathy, the job title was changed to Controller. Yes, she's that good. Kathy totally redefined the position during her time with the agency. She was lifting our financial competency, our integrity, our reputation, not just in Texas government, but in the entire lottery industry to all new heights. Clean financial audits, as Commissioner Franz mentioned, like the one you heard about today, and positive internal audit review, those became Kathy's trademarks. Whether it was meeting with financial policy experts over in the legislature or working closely with the financial teams at the Multi-State Lottery Association, American Lottery Association, or evaluating the soundness of publicly traded companies like IGT or Scientific Games. Kathy has always represented the Texas Lottery and the state of Texas in an exemplary fashion. Kathy on board, we've never taken a backseat to anyone, any entity on financial matters or negotiations, nor did I ever worry for a moment that I might be outgunned in any high-level financial discussions or meetings. Kathy has simply been the best at what she does for the 16 years that she's been here. And that's something that we all wish we could achieve. But as I said in our all-staff meeting last week, much more important than her job, much more important than her job performance these past many years, and something that runs much deeper than normal business relationships. Kathy's been a great friend, a trusted colleague, business partner, and a confidant for me for 16 years. I'm going to miss her tremendously. And I know everybody here, her friends, are just the exact same way. So with that, I have a proclamation. Push you through this too. I would like to read into the record at this time. Whereas Kathy Paika is retiring from the Texas Lottery Commission, whereas in fulfilling the duties and tasks of the controller of the Texas Lottery Commission, Kathy drew from her extensive experience, having served the state of Texas for more than 35 years through her previous employment, Texas Department of Commerce, Workforce Commission, and the Railroad Commission. She is indeed deserving of special professional and personal recognition. Whereas for 16 of those years, Kathy served as the controller for the Texas Lottery Commission, provided invaluable financial expertise to the agency. And whereas during her tenure with the commission, the Texas Lottery experienced record-breaking sales and revenue transfers to the state of Texas. Whereas also during her tenure with the commission, Kathy has served as an exceptional friend and colleague to the executive director and the other division directors. She is regarded by the management team at the commission as the finest chief financial officer in state government. Whereas born on July 31st, 1964, raised in Houston, Texas, Kathy attended Spring Branch High School where she carried on her love of volleyball. She grew up with a large family of 3 brothers and 1 sister, Mike, Steve, Donald, and Carol. Her parents, Viola and Herman, were the backbone of the home and Kathy's biggest supporters. Kathy went on to attend and play volleyball at St. Edward's University, where she obtained her bachelor's in accounting and obtained her CPA. Soon after entering the workforce, she met and later married her loving husband, Greg. Whereas Kathy and Greg are the proud parents of daughter Lauren, to whom they provide unconditional love and support, and have recently left in the hands of the Baylor Bears, there are many nieces and nephews who are a big part of her life and are loved immensely, as well as their two dogs, Buster and Maggie. Whereas Kathy is a dedicated member of St. Martin de Porres Catholic Church in Dripping Springs, having served on the church board of directors for several years. And whereas retirement will provide Kathy with discretionary time to spend with her family, traveling to Schulenburg, Fredericksburg, Baylor, and beyond. Home renovation is also on Kathy's to-do list. It's a skill that she excels at and enjoys. Whereas the office of the controller team will greatly miss Kathy's expertise, drive, her steadfastness, and unwavering support. Her leaving leaves a huge space to be filled, but they are incredibly happy. Whereas Kathy will also be extremely missed by her friends and other colleagues at the Texas Lottery Commission, be it resolved that the Texas Lottery Commission and many friends and loving family members hereby congratulate Kathy on her retirement and extend to her sincere best wishes now and during this next chapter in her life. Be it further resolved that an official copy of this proclamation be prepared for Ms. Paika as an expression of high regard of the Texas Lottery Commission. Witness thereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of the Texas Lottery Commission to be affixed hereto. Done, dated this the 18th day of February, your last day, Kathy. Signed, Robert G. Rivera, Chairman, and Gary Grief, Executive Director. We also have a gift, Kathy, a small token of our appreciation to you for your service. And it is the Texas state flag, which was flown at the Capitol on February 2nd, 2022. Appreciation of your many years of service to the state of Texas. Kathy, we wish you and Greg the very, very best.
Thank you very much, Carrie. I never thought I would get emotional on this. In my mind, I knew where I was going, but I don't think anybody understands the great opportunity that I've had in working here and just being part of this team. Not many individuals get to work with the same leader for 15 years. And I know that y'all know what an amazing leadership we have in this organization, but Gary's, just his unwavering support, his guidance, his friendship, all of us directors feel that. And that's what made it so hard to make this decision several years ago when I became eligible. I was like, this is too great of a job. Why would I want to leave now? But, at some point in time, you know that there's other things in your life that you want to take up and do. But this was a very difficult decision to make because of the amazing team that I'm part of. Mike Fernandez is my very dear friend. I think that y'all know that, and his wisdom was 100% correct in 2005 when he suggested he thought I might be a good fit for this position. He goes, I think you might really like being part of this team. And my gracious, Mike, you were 100% correct. It has been an amazing job and amazing group of directors that I have had the opportunity to work with, and their mentorship and their areas of expertise and their support of me and the financial stewardship of this agency has just been outstanding. So I'm very blessed and very thankful, and I'm ready to take on that next chapter of renovating a home in Fredericksburg, Texas, and see what comes next after that. So thank you all for everything, and really appreciate the kind words, Gary. You are just amazing.
Let's get Kathy. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Wow, okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Gary. Okay, next item is Bob with the enforcement cases.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to add that, I first knew Kathy last year at the Realm Hood Commission, 97, 98, and coming here, it's so nice to see someone see, so encouraging to see someone rise through the ranks in state government for 35 years in positions of responsibility. It's no small feat to survive that period of time in positions of responsibility. So I just want to add that I admire her so very much. And that item 13 in your notebooks has 7 enforcement cases. That's tabs A through G. And for the record, I'm Bob Beard. There are 6 lottery cases and 1 bingo enforcement matter, tabs A through G. And these cases, the commission staff either found a licensee violated a statute or rule, or the applicant did not qualify for a license. And in most of these cases, either the respondent failed to appear at the hearing and it proceeds by default, or the staff and the respondent reached a settlement in the form of an agreed order. And those are the cases we have. Tabs A and B are the non-sufficient fund lottery retailer license revocations handled in a single order. Each case was presented at the State Office of Administrative Hearings for revocation of the retailer license because the licensee failed to have sufficient funds in the bank account to cover electronic fund transfers to the commission's account. In each case, the licensee failed to appear at the hearing and the judge remanded the case to the commission to handle this default matter. Tabs C through F are lottery agreed orders. 3 of these cases involve a retailer buying a winning ticket from a customer and claiming it. And the other case, the retailer had a $20 minimum purchase requirement when buying tickets with a debit card. The last item is a bingo agreed order. You haven't seen one of those in a while. This case involves a bingo product manufacturer who had multiple violations, including not maintaining a registered agent in the state of Texas. The manufacturer agreed to pay a $1,000 penalty and is on probation for 1 year. That concludes my presentation. You may take up these orders in a single vote if you like, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, all in favor of approving tabs A through G? Is there a motion? Okay. Is there a second? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, motion passes. Bob, thank you. The next item is public comment, and I understand there are none. Commissioners, do you have anything else? On behalf of our commissioners, again, we are incredibly grateful to just all of the years of service that Kathy has provided. And it's definitely going to be different not having you part of our meetings, as you are definitely part of the fabric of who we are. And again, your legacy will remain forever. So again, thank you. Also, thank you to everyone for being here. I know we had an early start time, so we appreciate your commitment to lottery and being here early. For those of you at home still in bed in your Kermit the Frog pajamas, thank you for joining in. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you so much.